Hello friends, welcome back. In this session, we will understand what exactly and how exactly the Gaussian low-pass filter works. In the previous session, we discussed clearly the Butterworth low-pass filter and we compared it with ideal low-pass filter as well in terms of its advantages and disadvantages. Well, we are going to do the same thing with Gaussian filter as well, and this time it is going to be much faster and much easier for you. There are some disadvantages that we need to know which come along with the Butterworth low-pass filter, and we need to understand that very clearly. When the order is increased with BLPF, which is Butterworth filter, the ringing effect would still remain there. What I mean is, you have got the order which is connected to BLPF, and when you increase it, you will still feel the ringing effect. So it will start functioning almost similar to ILPF, which is nothing but the first one. When you move the value of the order increased, when you increase the value of the order, it will start functioning like ILPF, and it will always get you the ringing effect, which becomes unavoidable. So in order to overcome this, we can go ahead with the Gaussian filter. There is no ringing effect. The ringing effect challenge is completely overcome in the Gaussian filter, and this is very important to note. So we are not considering the order of the filter at all when it comes to the Gaussian filter. But there is another very important aspect that you need to remember. That's nothing but inclusion of the term sigma, which is nothing but the standard deviation. The sigma will also be very useful for you to calculate the spreadness of the Gaussian curve. So overall, if you see, we have got BLPF still affected by the ringing effect. So we are going to avoid that and we are going to overcome that. How do we do that? Is very simple. We do that through the Gaussian filter. The Gaussian filter does not have the concept, or we avoid completely the order of the filter, and instead we get sigma, which is nothing but the standard deviation, into picture. Well, the transfer function for the Gaussian low pass filter is presented in front of you. H of u comma v is equal to e to the power of minus d square u comma v by 2d0 power 2. So you can see that here. Now if you see what is D0, it is nothing but the cutoff frequency as prompted by the user. We have clearly explained you what exactly is the cutoff frequency in the previous sessions as well. So if you do not understand that, I request you to go there to the previous session and come back with a clear understanding. D of u comma v is nothing but the Euclidean distance from any point uv to the origin 0 comma 0 of the frequency plane. It is very, very important for you to understand these two. D0 is nothing but the cutoff frequency. D of u comma v is nothing but the Euclidean distance, which you need to understand. Well, the process is very simple, and before we go into the complete cycle, we will have to understand what will happen if you replace or apply sigma in terms of D0. In the place of D0, if you apply sigma, you get the equation rephrased as presented in front of you. I request you to go through it once. Now, I've got an input image. I'll go for FFT, then the spectrum comes into picture. I'll go for then centered zero frequency component. Then comes the Gaussian LPF, and decentralization happens then, and finally you get the restored output image. That's it. We have understood how exactly the Gaussian low pass filter is different from the previous two. Particularly, we compared it with BLPF. I hope you understood it, and in case you have any questions, I request you to type it in the comment section. I'll be able to answer them. In the next session, we are going to compare all these three types of low pass filters, and it's going to be very interesting as well. Thank you very much for following my channel and the content. If you have any questions, suggestions, please go ahead and type it in the comment section. I'll answer them. Thank you.